Okay, here's an example of what men's rights activists mean when we say we're anti-feminist. Take a look at this tweet from the Women's March official Twitter page. Notice this is the checkmark page, okay, defending Amber Heard and calling Johnny Depp an abuser. Sexism and misogyny are the reasons so much of the internet believes Johnny Depp, not his victim, Amber Heard, despite all the evidence of abuse. His abuse, not her abuse, his abuse. Now keep in mind, this is not some random person on the internet. This is the Women's March official verified page. That's a major feminist organization that's associated with a lot of major feminist names. And at this point, I think it's fairly safe to say we see the evidence shows Amber Heard is an abuser, and yet they're completely defending her and they're completely ignoring the fact that Johnny Depp was a victim of domestic violence. And you have to realize the implication of this. If they aren't willing to believe Johnny Depp, what man are they willing to believe? Because what's dangerous and scary about this is not just the fact that they would ignore female abusers, it's that they would ignore male victims. So if the Women's March protests and they advocate and they lobby for laws, what would those laws look like? What would a domestic violence law supported by the Women's March look like for male victims? Because we've already seen feminists in the UK support domestic violence laws that would have discriminated against male victims. We already have the Duluth model in the US, which discriminates against male victims. So when I make statements, and when I was on Vaush, I made this point, and I'm going to stick by it. When I make statements like feminists want to quasi-legalize domestic violence against men, I know that a feminist organization would never come out and directly say we should legalize domestic violence against men, but look at the implied effects of what they're saying. Look at the implications and read between the lines. There's a reason why we're saying this. We're not anti-feminist for no reason. There are things that feminist organizations, such as Women's March, are actually saying and actually doing. Oh, and don't forget, this is the same organization that invited Donna Hilton, who went to prison for torturing and murdering a gay man, to be one of their speakers. And this is an organization that is a mainstream feminist organization. So if this is what feminism is about, you're damn right I'm anti-feminist. I'm going to finish by saying this. I know there's a lot of feminists who don't feel this way, and I don't mean to attack you, but at some point you have to take some responsibility and pay attention to what the big feminist organizations that actually have an influence, such as Women's March, are saying and doing. And you have to hold them accountable, or else at some point you kind of deserve some of the blame yourself for supporting them.